Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Tuesday, the 17th of March. This is CTV News. Tonight, despite some cuts, New Brunswick sees a record deficit and adds to the debt. The $28,000 walk. The Nova Scotian challenging a provincial woods ban. And happy St. Patrick's Day, braving nasty weather to celebrate everything Irish.
Live from our Maritime's News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. New Brunswick today tabled a provincial budget with a record deficit and billions more added to the debt. The second Susan Holt budget carries a nearly $1.4 billion deficit, with the government bringing in $14.25 billion in revenue while spending $15.6. There are spending reductions over time, but as CTV's Nick Moore tells us, the expectation was for much more.
I think we've seen other jurisdictions just cut and slash and then have to backtrack.
Legacy says the Liberal government is taking a different approach and is being strategic. The province now has a projected net debt of $15.9 billion for 2027, the highest it's ever been. There will be $4.8 billion in spending within the Department of Health, which is $710 million more than last year, an increase of 17.4%. Legacy says all government departments were asked to find savings.
You will not find an easy $300-400 million that you can just say eliminate that. It's going to be multiple decisions that are going to have to be made.
The provincial Liberals say they will also reduce parts of the civil service in government departments by 12% over 3 years through attrition, eliminating about 1,400 positions and saving $100 million. The opposition parties say the Liberals got the province riled up with fears of big cuts to come and ultimately back down.
We are asked for difficult decisions. We're expecting massive cuts, and all this worry and fear is going around New Brunswick for the last little while.
Legacy disagrees, saying it is only the beginning.
Whatever we're touching is going to have impact on somebody, but at this point, what we're bringing today is what we feel confident that we can have a discussion and move forward.
Nick Moore, CTV News.
Well, reaction to the provincial spending plan came in fast and furious today. Post-secondary students were protesting even before the budget was tabled. In the end, operating grants for 4 schools were frozen.
What we were told is 3% today or 0% today for 10% tomorrow. They want to have those discussions. They want to talk to us about how to cut the budget. And so we just want to make sure we get a seat at the table.
We've been underfunded for many years now, and we had a lot to do to catch up to the rest of Canada. So I think this budget is going to go a long ways towards getting us up to par.
Babin is pleased the budget included an additional $700 million in healthcare funding. She says that will go a long way in attracting new doctors to New Brunswick. And another significant aspect of the spending plan will impact visitors more than New Brunswickers. Following Nova Scotia's longtime lead, the government plans to charge tolls for truckers and tourists along the Trans-Canada Highway. CTV's Derek Haggett has details.
The province of New Brunswick is hoping a new highway toll can help them get back on track financially. A toll booth near Olac for non-New Brunswick vehicles will be operational by 2028 and provide revenue of $10.4 million a year. The Finance and Treasury Board Minister says it's not possible to set up the tolls before then.
It's just capital expenditures. We need to build the tolls. I wish we could just drive a truck and slap it beside the highway, but it's going to take a little bit more time than that.
The president of the Atlantic Provinces Trucking Association says applying a toll to non-New Brunswick vehicles will create an unlevel playing field for commercial operators.
This will penalize businesses from outside the province that move goods into and throughout New Brunswick as part of our national supply chain.
From a trucking and supply chain perspective, Chris McKee says the new toll will have negative consequences.
Many additional toll costs that are imposed on our carrier members and the trucking industry are ultimately going to be passed on through freight rates, and that will contribute directly to higher prices at the grocery store and at the hardware store.
The province says there's a clear decision on why Olac was picked and not border crossings with Quebec.
If we look at Saint-Jacques or Edmundston area, that is a federal provincial agreement that we have that we are not supposed to put tolls. So we'd have to negotiate that with the federal government if we were to change that.
Ultimately, Legacy says the decision came down to volume. A decision on how much the tolls will be for individual vehicles hasn't been finalized. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
A high-profile Prince Edward Island cabinet minister has died. In a statement this evening, Premier Rob Lance confirmed the passing of Health and Wellness Minister Mark McLean. McLean was first elected in District 16 Cornwall Meadowbank in a by-election in November of 2021 and again in the 2023 general election. He also served as finance minister prior to his current portfolio, but stepped away from his responsibilities in early January for health reasons. Calling McLean a great Islander, Premier Lance said Mark would never worried about just himself. He always recognized he was part of a team and wanted to help and support those around him. Even when there was a difficult decision to be had or a tough decision to make, Mark could always find common ground with anyone he dealt with. Mark McLean leaves behind a wife and 3 daughters. 5 young people arrested following a dramatic crash just outside of Dartmouth last night. This was taken at the scene in Shearwater. One of the vehicles involved in the head-on collision was a Mitsubishi Outlander that had been reported stolen in Truro earlier in the day. Driver of the other vehicle, a 31-year-old man, taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. 5 youths from Truro in the Outlander were hurt, but not seriously. Police say they are facing a variety of charges. We are learning more tonight about the young woman who was killed in that hit-and-run incident in Cape Breton. Police are still trying to find the driver. CTV's Ryan McDonald has the latest.
The family has identified the victim of the hit and run over the weekend as 23-year-old Cassie Alexis Marley Reed of Albert Bridge. Cape Breton Regional Police say they were called to the Hills Road area of the Louisburg Highway late on Sunday morning, where a woman's body had been found near the roadway, but the vehicle involved was not at the scene. They believe she was hit sometime Saturday night. Police say pieces of a vehicle were found at the scene, and during their last official update to the media, they said they were trying to determine the make and model they are looking for. Cassie Reed's grandmother described her granddaughter today as a loving and proud mom whose children meant the world to her. She had 4 children, ages 10 months to 7 years. When she was struck and killed, she was less than 2 weeks shy of her 24th birthday, which would have been on March 27th. And police have said they are asking the public for tips or any information that might help them track down the driver of the vehicle. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
A rare weapons call in Fredericton today. City police say they responded to reports of a man with a weapon entering a home on Gibson Street over the noon hour. The emergency response team and the K-9 unit among those dispatched to the scene. An 18-year-old man and a 22-year-old woman were arrested. They are facing a number of drug and weapons charges tonight. Turned out to be a long day for passengers aboard a WestJet flight from Halifax to Edmonton. The plane lifted off as scheduled around 7 o'clock this morning, but the tail, which is known as the aft fuselage, made contact with the ground. The aircraft kept going, but diverted to Montreal, where it's being inspected. WestJet says passengers were re-accommodated on a different plane, and they are expected to arrive in Edmonton before the end of the day. The Transportation Safety Board is also looking into what happened. Well, no matter where you were today, it was pretty hard to ignore the wind. Even if you were inside, there's a good chance your power was off for a while. The roof came off an abandoned building in the north side of Sydney, although nobody was injured. Tens of thousands of people were without power at various times, but Nova Scotia Power says things could have been worse.
We do our best to put our estimated time of restoration on our website based on site conditions. Our crews are seeing some slower restoration in back road areas where it's quite soggy.
There were some power outages in PEI in New Brunswick as well, along with some localized flooding in St. John, Pictou County, and elsewhere. Cape Breton man who fought Nova Scotia's province-wide woods ban was having his day in court today. You'll recall he was slapped with a $28,000 fine for refusing to stay out of a forested area during the wildfires last year. CTV's Jesse Thomas tells us tonight he claims the government overstepped its legal authority with that order.
Cape Breton resident Jeff Evely arrived at Nova Scotia Supreme Court ready to make his challenge that the province went too far on August 5th when they banned the public from entering the woods.
We live under rule of law, so that means the government has to follow the law too. And in this case, it is my opinion that they breached our charter rights.
Evely, who lives in Sydney and says he suffers from PTSD following several combat tours with the armed forces, hikes through the woods daily to help manage his symptoms.
It was very anxiety promoting, I'll say.
Evely purposely defied the woods ban and walked into the woods near a DNR office. He notified officials of his plan and was fined more than $28,000. Peter McIsaac worked nearly 30 years in the woods with the Department of Natural Resources and supports Evely.
There's no scientific data or no recorded data. Somebody walking in the woods or through the act of fishing has set a fire in the province of Nova Scotia.
The province's legal team is expected to make their case tomorrow. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Ottawa is helping to make the McMoney DeBert Cultural Centre in Cumberland Colchester closer to becoming reality. It is one of 6 sites receiving federal funding to bolster Indigenous tourism. Projects hope to bring extra income into Indigenous communities and create close to 130 full-time jobs.
When Mi'kmaq DeBert Cultural Center opens, visitors will be able to come here and deepen their understanding of Mi'kmaq history, culture, and our 13,000 years of connection to this land.
Organizers are hoping for shovels in the ground this summer with an official opening in the fall of 2028. All right, time for our first break. Still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll examine how more and more of us are living paycheck to paycheck these days. Coming up next, though, connecting the dots.
So giving another exit to the 101 from that area is positive.
Relief may be on the way for motorists on one of the busiest roads in Halifax. That's next. Stay with us.
With Aaron and Peter. Aaron and Peter's payroll is back, and it's the easiest job you'll ever have.
Register now at move100halifax.ca and then listen for your name Monday at 8.
So after years of lobbying, relief is in the works for commuters who drive one of the busiest roads in the Halifax area. Officials say a new connector highway in Hammonds Plains will ease traffic and provide an emergency escape route for the area. CTV's Jonathan McGuinness has more.
Anybody that's driven on Hammonds Plains Road knows it's a very, very busy road. So giving another exit to the 101 from that area is positive.
That exit will be a 5-kilometer-long connector highway that will allow some traffic to be steered away from Highway 102, saving significant commuting time.
Anytime we can add 4-lane highways to our network, it improves safety, it improves efficiency and effectiveness to move people and goods.
It will also provide an alternate escape route for residents, something that became a safety issue during the wildfires of 2023.
The evacuation is one critical approach, like we have seen during the wildfire. There are issues of multiple neighborhoods having only one access road.
The province says the connector is needed because of the recent population growth in the area and the projected growth in the coming years. Sending out a request for proposals for the environmental assessment is really the first step in this project. Minister Fred Tilley says no timeline or budget has yet been set, but he says he'd like to see this connector built as soon as possible. Jonathan McGuinness, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, John. We'll step aside for a quick little minute here, but when we return, it's your complete maritime weather forecast. I think most of us hoping the wind and the rain is largely behind us. Kaylin has the details coming up next. It's a cool Tuesday night, 17th day of March. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. You too.
And it's much cooler outside. Couldn't help but notice.
Yeah, temperature's starting to come down. Hey, do you think this one was enough that we could give it sort of like a catchy name, like the St. Patrick's Day Gale of 2026?
Ooh,
what do you
now
think?
You're thinking.
Yeah.
We'll build a special graphic and everything.
Yeah, maybe. Certainly was very windy out there through a good portion of the day, especially for parts of Nova Scotia. Also very gusty around southern areas of New Brunswick and areas of Prince Edward Island. Nova Scotia did have, at least according to some personal weather stations in the province, some peak gusts that got up between 100 and 120 kilometers per hour. Of course, very windy with this weather system as we got squeezed between it and an area of high pressure that was sitting off towards the east. Now, as Bruce mentioned, as we're moving through tonight, temperatures are coming down, and it does get colder tonight, and it's going to be a cold start to the day for tomorrow and even chilly in the afternoon. That's happening because this cold front is going through and the wind direction is changing, becoming west, bringing in that colder air off the continent. Now, the bulk of the rain is now off towards the east, partly cloudy conditions into the start of the day for tomorrow. Good deal of sunshine on Wednesday around the region, but again, temperatures definitely on the chilly side. Here's a look at the winds becoming west and northwest as we move through tonight, and they'll be west and northwest for tomorrow with some gusts in the afternoon between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour, so breezy around the region. Low temperatures tonight, though, in the Maritimes will be falling a few to several degrees below the freezing mark, even colder than that through northern areas of New Brunswick between -10 and -16. Because of all the rain that moved through today and melt of snow and ice, be careful, of course, of any wet surfaces turning icy by the start of the day for tomorrow. High temperatures in the north of New Brunswick will be between -4 and -6 with central and southern parts of the province with high temperatures between 0 and -4. Here's a look at your high temperatures tomorrow in Prince Edward Island, and for most communities, we'll be topping out around -3, -4 with a northwest wind, 20 gusts into 40 kilometers per hour. In Cape Breton, the high temperatures tomorrow between -1 and -4. And on the north shore of Nova Scotia, mostly near -2. For the eastern shore, between 0 and -2. Cumberland, Colchester, Hants counties for tomorrow. Halifax County, high temperatures mostly between 0 and -3. Down to Lunenburg County, near 0. Around 0 for Liverpool and Shelburne for tomorrow. A little bit colder at Yarmouth, around -4. And chilly in the Annapolis Valley, -2 for Middleton, as well as -2 around Kentville and Wolfville. In the extended forecast for New Brunswick, temperatures remain chilly through the end of this week. Hey, we got the spring equinox coming up, though, on Friday, 11:46 a.m. our time. There's a chance of flurries for New Brunswick on that day, as well as on Saturday. Mixture of flurries and showers in the forecast for the end of the weekend on Sunday. That's followed by a mix of sun and cloud Monday into Tuesday. Here's how things are shaping up generally over the next several days for the province of Nova Scotia. There's a low chance of some flurries on Thursdays. Temperatures remain a little bit chilly. They come up a few degrees for Friday with a mix of sun and cloud in the forecast. Mix of sun and cloud on Saturday with showers in the forecast for Sunday, and then it looks like a fair weather start to next week as well with them Monday and Tuesday, both days with a mix of sun and cloud. And for Prince Edward Island in the forecast, a little bit chilly on Thursday, high temperatures near 0, highs up to around 4 degrees on Friday. After that, it's a chance of flurries on Saturday, highs near 4. Some flurries, showers in the mix for the Sunday forecast, and then a mix of sun and cloud follows for Monday and Tuesday. Bruce.
Won't be sorry to see you in this March, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. Wake up weather still to come. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
So it's no secret that many Canadians struggle to pay their bills every month, with a growing number admitting they are barely getting by. As CTV's Vanessa Wright tells us tonight, between housing and groceries and now gas prices, it is only getting more and more difficult.
From housing to food and now gas, Canadians are feeling the squeeze like never before. A new survey from Vivid Data found nearly half of the country is living paycheck to paycheck.
I think it affects everyone, young or old, married couples, singles, unemployed, homeless. Everyone's affected by it.
The survey painting a grim picture at how tight Canadian budgets have become.
I get a Canada pension, old age pension, and just the other day, with the price of oil gone up, it was $600. That's one of my checks gone right there, and then we got to eat and we got to pay insurance on the house, and it's almost getting to the point now where I'm going to have to either give it up, sell the house, and try to get a smaller place or do something.
And for those with credit cards, an even bigger strain. The survey found 36% of Canadian credit card holders carry a balance and rely on credit cards when they're short on money, though 1 out of 3 people reported being unable to pay off their credit card bills each month.
Those people, they already have potentially a mortgage and other credit, but they carry a balance month to month. 68% say they have less disposable income, and 53% say they feel overwhelmed by financial burdens. Feeling overwhelmed, that's more than 1 in 2 Canadians.
Vanessa Wright, CTV News.
Thank you, Vanessa. Time for one final break tonight. Coming up, celebrating St. Patrick's Day at the crack of dawn. First, though, your wake-up weather. Here's a live look at Yarmouth on this Tuesday evening. Still 2 degrees right now in southwest Nova. Caitlin will tell you how to dress for the morning when we come back.
It's the best night of the year. Join Jose Bautista, Brett the Hitman Hart, and Jennifer Botterill at the Desjardins Sports Charity Dinner April 16th in Halifax. Funds raised support Canadian Progress Club Halifax. For tickets, visit progressclubhalifax.ca.
Okay, it's Wednesday morning. That means we're now only 2 days away from the start of spring.
Yeah, spring equinox coming up Friday morning for the Maritime. Speaking of the morning, Wednesday morning, colder start to the day around the region. Morning temperatures a few to several degrees below zero. Even colder than that through northern areas of New Brunswick. In the afternoon, it'll be mostly sunny or the very fair weather mix of sun and cloud. A breezy northwest wind. Temperatures, though, chilly. Most of the daytime highs between -4 and 0. And in the north of New Brunswick, between -6 and -9. Bruce.
Right you are, Caitlin. We'll see you again tomorrow. Well, the wind and the rain was sweeping through Halifax this morning. That did not stop the St. Patrick's Day celebrations from getting underway before the sun even came up. CTV's Hafsa Arif spoke with a few people who spent the whole day celebrating everything Irish.
Before the crack of dawn, lines were already forming outside bars across Halifax.
Like we do every year, we're just waiting for the place to open to get our spot so we can see some great music, we can spend time with some great friends, and you got to get here early if you want to get in the door.
Got 2 umbrellas yesterday, owned one for the first time in my life today, and even though it's a little bit windy, the rain's not coming down. We're happy to stand out here for an hour and get in, have a creamy pint ready for us.
But St. Patrick's Day isn't just about early pints. Across the city, families go into the spirit too, with crafts, games, and a little bit of magic.
Called the leprechaun house trap. When the leprechaun goes in there, it goes to get the clothes, but when it gets scared by the trap, it just gets out. And the only way to open it is by doing this.
Favorite part of today was like the games. You know how you got coins? I liked that.
At the Steel Wheels Motor Museum, it was a mix of horsepower and holiday spirit.
Well, we got the tunes going. We've got beers that can be green. We've got mocktails that can be green. We've got cars that are green. It's a good time.
Never been here before, and we thought we'd come and check it out. And we read about it online, and looked like a fun thing to do on a rainy, windy day today. We'll probably go out to a restaurant and have a few beers and have supper later.
No matter how you mark today, one thing's clear: St. Patrick's Day spirit is going strong. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Hafsa. That is your late news for this Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. CTVNewsAtlantic.ca if you want to take another look at anything we showed you tonight and a whole lot more. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us. Have a good evening. We hope to see you again tomorrow.